What's up guys, welcome back to our channel, and we are here to do story time with you guys. If you've seen in the previous video, we went to Miami and Key West. We have a story to tell you that happened on that trip. We got off the plane and everything went downhill from there.
Alright,
we are back. So, if you aren't already subscribed, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below. Like this video after watching it.
Turn on those post notifications.
And don't forget to comment, because we love our comments. So we
do. We respond to everybody, so you guys should really comment. If it doesn't even have to be about the video, you could be like, hey, and we'll be like, hey.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we went to Miami, and we were there for 3 nights.
Freeze. If you haven't already watched the spring break vlog, go there now, pause this video, go there, watch those 2 vlogs, and then come back to this video and you'll understand what the story time is about. Continue.
Yeah. Alright, so we had plans to stay in Miami for 2 nights, and we did, and it was the day before the day we were leaving, and Jess is like, can we stay one more day? So I looked at the flights, I was like, oh, they're a little expensive.
I do this every time we go away, by the way. This is nothing new.
So I called the airline to see if we can maybe change our flight. They were like, nothing we can do. And we didn't really want to miss the flight just in case they didn't give us our money back. So we ended up headed to the airport after we had a great day in Miami.
Well, freeze. We had a whole plan to miss our flight. Because of how expensive it was, we looked up the rules and regulations and stuff for American Airlines. And it says they have this flat tire rule where if you miss your flight, they'll put you on the next flight for free. The problem was the next flight was still the same day, so it was a high risk for us to miss it. And then we'd end up having to spend $1,000 the next day. So that's why we ended up not doing that. So we went to the airport and we went to get on our plane.
Yeah, so we got to the airport. We said goodbye to our friend. She went to her plane and we went to ours. We took off about the same time. We're boarding right now, and Jess is like, oh, I want to stay here. So whatever, long story short, we get on the plane, and as we're boarding, we're walking down the aisle. This plane's holding 400 people, so it took 20 minutes to just sit down to our seat.
It was one of those international planes that goes overseas. It was huge.
And as we're walking, the power goes out. They're like, no problem, we'll be right with you, and just remain seated, remain calm, we'll have the power up and running soon. Which
was a lie, because we sat on the plane sweating for 2 hours. And the plane was still not up and running. They eventually got some power back on and the AC back on, but it was on very low. We were sweating. I was tired. We were also still in bathing suits because we had been running around all day. So we went to the airport with our bathing suits on. So we decided we'd go get cups of water from the flight attendants. So that's what I did. And while I was back there, I overheard people talking and saying the doors were still open and that they had no idea what was going on and they were running out of water and didn't know what to do because they didn't have enough water bottles on the plane for people and everyone was complaining. So then Jake took it upon himself.
And I asked the stewardess if, I just asked because I knew the rule. If the door is shut, you can't leave the airplane. But I was like, is the cabin door open? They said, yeah, it's still open. I was like, so if I get off the plane right now, and because I feel unsafe with the situation that's going on.
Right.
Because they were still trying to fly the plane.
A wire had fallen out of the bottom of the plane.
So yeah, as we got off, we talked to the main stewardess at the door, and he's like, yeah, head down to the ticketing counter and they'll rebook you for tomorrow. Meanwhile, they took my bag already, so Jess has her bag and Eve has his bag. Lucky them. I didn't have anything besides my backpack.
Except for the fact that Jake uses all my stuff anyway, so it wasn't like he didn't have anything. He had all my toiletries, he was wearing my clothes, he had a bathing suit on him. He'll borrow stuff just as much from me as I do from him, so it wasn't the end of the world. It would have been worse if I didn't have my bag. Just put it that way. But we also told the guy that was in charge when we got off the plane, we were like, oh, like we had this meeting tonight that we missed, like just so that it would make it more like, oh, we have to rebook them. We feel terrible.
Yeah. So we ended up getting rebooked for the following night. Same exact flight, same time, same exact airplane.
And we'd feel better knowing it had left and came back safely.
Yeah. So we get our tickets, and then I'm like, all right, before we leave the airport and go party, let's find a hotel.
Right. Mind you guys, we're like hysterically laughing, in the best mood, planning out our whole night. We're like, we're going to go out and wear this. We're going to go to this place. We have like another 24 hours here. Our flight was at 7:30. We got off the plane by 9 o'clock. We boarded at like 6:45. So we had been sitting on the plane for 2 hours. But we got off by 9 o'clock. So we were like, it's still early. We're going out. Let's go get food. Let's do this. Like in the best mood ever. We're all hysterically laughing. Couldn't believe this had just happened after our whole day of us trying to figure out how to stay. This happens. We're like, oh my God, it's a sign. We were meant to be here. Until we start looking for hotels. Then Jake's on his phone, I'm on my phone, Eve's on his phone, I'm calling my dad. We spent about an hour and a half more at the airport searching for hotels, and anything that was within, not even just reasonable price, but even more expensive than what we'd be willing to pay, was booked completely. There was like, literally
let's look for something around under 200. Then we're like 300.
They were like 400.
They were like, that's it.
Oh my God, this is insane.
I started looking all the way up to West Palm. Like within an hour, there was nothing.
Yeah, like within an hour radius of Miami, there were no hotels under the price of $500.
Because of the spring break demand.
Right.
It was crazy.
And the thing was, even with the $500 hotels, some of them had like one room left and maybe didn't have 2 beds. And there was 3 of us, so we needed 2 beds. And some of them were like really just not great hotels, and we're like, we're not spending $500 for a hotel that is normally like $60 a night. Well, out of frustration, Jake made a pretty poor decision. So we decided, I was on the phone with my dad, because my dad lives in Florida, as you guys know, but he's completely opposite. So like, here's Miami on the East Coast, my dad lives straight across and a little bit up on the West Coast. He's about 2.5 hours away, and we're like, listen, like, it's cheaper if we just rent a car right now. It could be like $80. What if we drive to you and stay with you? And of course he was okay with it, but at this point it's now like 10:30, almost 11 o'clock. We're going to then have to drive back to Miami to fly home the next day. It would have just like been a whole hassle. So last resort was we were going to rent a car and drive out to Cape Coral and stay with my dad.
Yeah, I mean, me and Eve did say we would sleep in the car. We'd be fine with that. Just renting a car and using that as a hotel.
Okay, here's my thing. Would I have done it if we got some like big truck or a van or something? I would have. But I needed to shower. Like at that point, I felt so disgusting. I was still in my bathing suit from the beach that day. We were just sitting on a plane for hours, sweating. Like if I was like, I cannot sleep until I take a shower. I feel gross, and you can't shower in a rental car. So I was like, we need a hotel. We need to go to my dad's something so that we can shower, go to bed, and like get some sleep because it had been such a long day. So we're at the rental car station area, and Jake goes,
I found a place.
Hold on. He goes, it's funny now, but it was not funny at the time. He goes, I found a place, look up this place, and tells us it's called the Green Seas Motel. Okay? It's about 30 minutes, 25 minutes from the airport. Whatever, fine. $300, so it's a $300 motel, okay? A motel. A motel should never even cost $100, let alone $300.
Yeah.
So in the process of telling us to look it up to make sure it's good, he books it without asking anybody. So Jake books this motel. I start freaking out because I finally pull up the place and there's no pictures of the rooms, which was sketchy to me. So I start hysterically crying as we get into the Uber. Oh, we're in an Uber now. Going to some hotel that Jake booked. I don't know where it is. I'm crying. So, as you guys just saw, I was freaking out. I am not like a hotel snob, but I think a place needs to be decent if I'm going to sleep in it and shower in it and feel safe especially. So we get there. I'm starting to freak out a little bit as we're driving around. He's like, oh, look, don't be freaked out. There's motels all over the street. It's not like this one random place. It's on a main road. This did not click in our heads that if you're on
There's a police station next door.
There's a police station right next door.
Bar next door, everything.
So we at first, we're looking at the maps and seeing, oh, like, look, there's all these things right here. It's on a main road. Like, we're probably fine. It's one night.
Yeah.
Until you get in the area, everything looks shut down. There's, like, broken street lights. Every store around had been either, like, closed for the night or just permanently closed. And I don't know why it didn't click in any of our heads that a strip of motels is usually not a good sign of a good area. But we were like, oh, this is great. It must be a vacation destination. Okay.
For cheap people. Even
Yeah.
though we spent $300.
Well, we get there, we get out of the Uber, and when I tell you my heart sunk when I had gotten out of the Uber, I mean it. I started to freak out. My heart was pounding. He's freaking out on me because he's starting to realize the environment that we're in, just not good people. We don't really need to get into detail about it, but there was really just not good people around. You could tell they were druggies and violent people, and just, it was very uncomfortable. And here we are, like, strolling through after our trip to Key West. Every single one of us had, like, a Key West sweatshirt on, and I've got, like, jewelry, because, like, we were just been in Miami and South Beach all day.
Victoria's Secret bags.
I had my Victoria's Secret pink luggage, and, like,
so flashy.
everything, just so flashy. Like, everything, like, designer and jewelry, and I just felt so out of place. And I'm not saying that if you're in an area that it doesn't have money, that it's like that, but you could tell we were in a very dangerous area. And when you're dressed like that, you stand out. It was a very unsafe situation for us. A bunch of people are around us, and me and Jake go to check in.
So we're checking in, waiting on the line, just hanging out, and we overhear 2 people max, like strict. I hear the girl saying, no more. They take your IDs and everything. They make sure, it's only 2 people are in the room at the time.
Right. Also, Jake didn't check when he booked it to see how many people it was for.
Yeah.
He just booked a room.
Yeah, I had to.
So, he had to.
So I told my friend to go stand on the side so they didn't see him while we check in, because the check-in's outside. It was weird, but
on the street.
We checked in, we gave our IDs, and then we all strolled to the room. Me and my friend, like our friend Eve, meets us at like kind of in front of the motel.
Which is where I again start freaking out more and more and more, and he's like, shut up, calm down, don't draw attention, because I'm ready to just start sobbing. I'm also very dramatic, but like, it was a really bad situation. So we went to the room, we go through our gate to get to the doors because they're all outside, it's a motel, and there's 2 people sitting outside of our room. So Jake, being Jake, just trying to be friendly, is like, hey, how are you, to the guy, and he like gives him a nasty look. He said hi, but he gave him a very nasty look, and he's literally sitting in front of our door, like on like this like
chair.
Picnic chair.
So I just squeezed past him to get into our room.
Which was so uncomfortable because again, he was one of those people that just you felt very unsafe around. And we get in the room, and it was disgusting. 7 million degrees. The AC was not on. The bathroom was gross. The bed was like this big. He jumps on it like it was squeaky. The Marriott. And I wouldn't even touch anything. I start crying again. I'm freaking out. I look at him and his friend, and I said, I don't care what you guys do, but I'm booking myself a hotel. If I have to spend $600 right now, we're leaving. I'm not doing this. Like, this is not it. I cannot sleep here. There's one tiny bed, and there's 3 of us. Like, we're all just going to be staring at the ceiling all night. It'd be so scary.
Yeah.
So then Ebe went on his phone, found a hotel in Fort Lauderdale.
Right by the airport.
Right by the airport, and it was in like a good safe area. So he books it, and it was like $60.
Yeah.
For a hotel that's normally $60 a night.
Now we're already in like $750.
Yeah,
$760.
so at this point we could have stayed at one of the $800 hotels in Miami and just called it a night and spent our night having fun.
Yeah.
Because we're already so deep. So we had a plan because we were like, we just checked into this hotel. The lady at the desk was scary too. Like, how are we going to check out of this hotel 5 minutes after we walk into the room? Like, what do you say? We feel unsafe when you're standing on the streets? Like, it was just such a terrible situation. So he's like, I'm going to say, like, you had a family emergency. You get in the Uber. I'll just give her the key and we'll leave immediately. I'm not even going to, like, stand there and talk to her about it. So we walk out of our room. We waited until the Uber said it was 1 minute away because we did not want to be standing on the streets. So we walk out of the room. Luckily, no one was sitting outside of our room anymore. We had been in there for about 15 minutes. And we go out of the gate, and people that had just left the gate, like from our hotel, carrying these big duffel bags were on the street. And they were right by where our Uber pulled pulled up. So Eve was walking towards the Uber. Meanwhile, I refused to walk near these people because I just felt unsafe around them. So Jake said something to me and was like, don't go over there, wait for it to pull around the corner. So I was like, okay, and then I was like, Eve, come here, thinking if I said it, it would sound less bad than him calling him over. And the guy that was in front of Eve turns around, and I don't even remember what he said.
He's like, you going the right way?
He's like, where are you guys going? Where are you headed? Are you going the right way? Which way are you heading? Because, like, I called him away, and he could almost tell I was calling him away from him.
Yeah.
So he starts verbally assaulting us. And luckily, the Uber, like, whipped it around the corner because he saw this was happening.
He pulled right out, and he jumped out.
Jumps out of the car.
Opened his trunk, started throwing our bags. And I was like, everyone get in, get in, get in.
Jake's pushed, literally, like, threw me in the car. Eve jumped in the car.
I was like,
and the
just
guy
get in.
slams the trunk and gets in the car and is
I hopped in. I was like, I ain't checking out of this hotel.
No. So
I still got the key. I never checked out.
We never checked out. So we have the key still, and it's like, mind you, it's like a house key. It's not a, our room number's on it, the hotel's on it. The address is on it. It's not a scanner thing. It's literally a key. So we will have that as a memory forever. And when we're in the Uber, the Uber driver was like, what are you guys doing over here? And we're like, I don't know, our flight had issues, so we got off the plane. We spent an hour and a half looking for hotels. We ended up here. We got in the room, felt so unsafe. He's like, I would never come in this area. I can't believe you guys are out here. It's so unsafe. He's like, you're literally in a junkie town. He's like,
yeah.
The amount of crime and drug overdose and just crazy things that happen, like, on this strip is so dangerous. He's like, I can't believe, like, you guys ended up here. He's like, I can tell you guys don't belong here. We're like, we're spring breakers. Like, we don't know what's happening. I literally had, like, the biggest heart attack. He wouldn't speak for, like, an hour. So he was telling us that the hotel we were headed to was much safer and in a much better area, right by the beach, by the hotel. So we felt a lot better, even though it wasn't where we had originally planned to stay because it was Fort Lauderdale. So this clip that I'll enter right here was when we had gotten to the safer hotel, not the original hotel. We did not, motel, we did not film there. We didn't want to take the camera out. We didn't want any expensive things.
Let's shower and go to bed.
Yeah, and so when we had gotten to the next hotel, we got in the room, we took showers. He, like, jumped into bed and looked at me and was like, I can't talk about this right now. My heart's racing. I felt so unsafe. Like, he just wanted to go to bed, which is why we didn't talk about it yet. But it was a very, very scary experience.
For sure. But
for a solid half hour, I thought we were going to die.
On the bright side, we did have a great day in Miami the next day. As soon
the
as
next
we
day was
checked out,
so fun.
We Ubered back to our old hotel in Miami.
They let us keep our luggage
take our bags,
there,
please.
which was great.
And then we went
Shout
down
out
to the beach. Perfect.
Yeah, shout out to the Marriott for letting us keep our luggage there after that whole experience. It was amazing that you guys let us do that.
For anyone who's wondering, I did get my $300 back from the first hotel.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we were gonna call you first thing in the morning. I guess they know, like, this stuff happens, like, it's common. So I was like, yeah, we were like,
yeah, they had to have
assaulted
known that
last
we
night,
left.
and they had no problem. They're like, call up your credit card company and have them call us, and we'll refund you right away.
Yeah, which was really great. So we're thankful because, I mean, it was like we lost $30. It was $300.
Yeah.
And then the other hotel ended up being like $460, and it was just absolutely insane.
The motel was normally $20 a night. We
$20 a night, and we spent $300.
And even the hotel we stayed at the airport, that one was running for $69 a night, but we paid $465.
Yeah, that's our story. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will catch you next time.